Great to have you all here finally. This is the first time I've run in a workshop here at Parsonage Retreat, so I've really been looking forward to it. The energy has always felt amazing here. The place is complete, space for everyone. It's going to be quite an amazing weekend, so I'm really quite looking forward to seeing how it all goes. We'll talk about reincarnation this weekend. We'll go through the techniques, focus on the astral planes. We'll talk about the consensus realities that exist on those planes of reality, what you can expect to find there, the things that you can do. It's pretty endless, but I just want to give you some meat on the bones so you really know what to expect. And we'll go through all the different levels of reality, from the physical level to the sort of the first non-physical level that exists outside the physical one, which is a duplicate copy of this. I'll then take you deeper into the astral planes and in the higher planes of consciousness, and maybe we'll frame it a little bit wider than that if we have time. If not, then we'll wait for another opportunity throughout the weekend. You can ask questions throughout that whole talk, especially if you need clarity on anything, or if anything which is related to what we're talking about comes up. I didn't understand it then. I understand it now. I understand that this was my path within this lifetime. This was my path not just to have conscious experiences, but to teach it. And so that's what was driving me. There's something now that led you to be here, to start to sort of drive yourself to that point. So whatever that is, just trust that you're here for a reason. Really, really trust that. Every single night, without exception, you have out-of-body experiences. Most of the time, you wake up in the morning and might remember fragments of a dream. Approach this weekend from that you're not here to sort of have your belief systems sort of rubbished by me or anybody else. You hold on to your belief systems. You take the tools that you learned tonight and the tools that you've already used in the past, and you really sort of dedicate yourself to this process of seeking reality on your terms. And this is one thing I want you to keep in mind about this weekend. I'm really pleased to hear that, of the range of experiences that you're already having, this is a sanctuary, and we're well taken care of. You just have to allow the fact that there are other beings here. And not even just, sort of random people. There's going to be, even some of your deceased loved ones who are here checking in on you. You have to realize that, they're interested in your development. They're curious about, hey, I might at some point be able to have conscious contact with this loved one of mine who is still on the physical plane. This is very special stuff that we're doing. This is very deep work that we're doing. It's very important throughout this weekend that you learn to trust the group of people that you're with right now. For your whole life, you've probably had moments where you've had to keep stuff secret. You've had to keep stuff inside of you. You've had to sort of, in a sense, you feel marginalized, that you can't just sort of express yourself and you have to censor yourself. You don't have to do that here. The caterers have just arrived, so we're going to have our evening meal now. All the food this weekend is vegetarian, as I'm sure you're already aware. Now, I've asked each one of you to download tracks onto MP3 players. And for those who have, great, fantastic. For those who haven't, not a problem, because in each one of your rooms, there is a hookup which hooks up to the main audio room, and we can pump the actual tracks down through to each room. And with binaural sound, which we'll be using something similar here at the retreat center, you basically use headphones, and you have one particular sound that goes in the right ear that affects the left hemisphere of the brain, and then one sound that goes in the left ear that affects the right hemisphere of the brain. These two signals will then create a third signal. And this third signal will then start to synchronize both those hemispheres to act as one complete brain. Typically, it would take people months of doing deep meditation to achieve. You can usually 10 to 15 minutes, you can train your brainwave to that particular signal. So it's very powerful technology. We'll then do a Q&A session in the roundhouse, which is a lovely structure down the path. But if anybody wants to sort of start us off, it doesn't matter what it is you want to chuck out there, we'll just sort of discuss stuff and see where it takes us. This is a very loosely framed sort of discussion, if you like. So anything that's sparked or that you want to share, then please, by all means. Let's say you never remember your dreams. When I start teaching these techniques, people go from rarely remembering any dreams at all, to the point to where I've taught people who sometimes, Ladron, you've had what, 14, 15 dreams in a night, you recall?
Maximum was 25.
25 dreams in one night. 25 is still not even touching the tip of the iceberg of the experiences we have every single night. That's just because of your dedication. Previous to that, your best might have been, 2 or 3 experiences, before you started deploying
wow,
stuff. Yeah, wow, look how much I'm remembering. Look how much you're forgetting. What I started to learn was, with these out-of-body experiences, that I'd been asleep for a third of my life. Not just, this sleep that we go into, this physical sleep, but I was asleep to all of this, to who and what we really are, to this bigger picture of reality. Now, unfortunately, chocolate is a real sort of helper in getting things like serotonin up and things, so I've got to sort of force chocolate upon you. I'm really sorry about that. At some point, you have to graduate the human system. We don't stay human forever. At some point, you're going to leave the system. This is why this workshop in particular, the nature of this workshop is quite big. Any out-of-body explorer that I've trained in the past has gone through the same motions that you're going through now. They've gone through the same trials, the same sort of, irritation, boredom, whatever. They've gone through it all. And then they finally hit it, and it clicks, and it starts to make sense. And repeatedly they start being able to trigger the experience from scratch. And they have gotten so far now, it's just they see how it's all worth it. They see in the beginning it's just, it is what it is, and then it becomes the reward. Everything starts to come from it, and you're like, whoa. Especially when you have that very first one that you trigger yourself, and you get out there, and it's just such a deep, profound experience. You're like, I want more of that. Go with the flow. Stay focused. It will be worth it. Good. I think that's a very valid reason for being here, to see how deep the rabbit hole goes.